Hey YouTube, this is Lego Boy 12336 with another review. Today, it's been a while. First of all, I've been gone. Like I said before, I recently did my update at Busch Gardens to let you know what was happening, and now I'm back. Now that we're back into things, break is done because I've been having a lot going on during break. I've been having exams. I've been having family. I've been out. I recently actually came back from a vacation yesterday for a week. So I've been doing a lot of things, and I've had exams before that. My brother was here, and now that he's not, because the other thing is all my room was a mess with him, with all the stuff all over. So now I'm going to be back in session. Before I begin, you can already tell probably what the review is going to be. But before we begin that, I'd like to show you, for Christmas, I got this book here. Now, like I said before, guys, I'm not getting interested in much Star Wars as much as they used to be. Well, I do love Star Wars, but I've said this before. I don't really, use it anymore. But I will be reviewing, and actually, I still have never gotten to this one because I've been out. But I will compare both of these books in another video, probably the next one maybe. But I have both of these books here, and I'll probably compare them. They're both awesome, and I still need to do, and I mentioned it in my ship review, where I put all the ships all over the ground. So I'll be doing that too as well. So without any further ado, let's begin the review. As you can obviously see, for Christmas I got the iPhone 6. Now this is the first time I've had an iPhone. Well, I've never had an iPhone before. Obviously I would have shown it in the reviews, but my point is I've never had an iPhone. The phone I had before, actually I have it with me, was this phone here, and now I use get off. And now it's iPhone. So my information, my thing was transferred. I do go by Verizon. So yeah. So now it's this phone. And let's take a look at it. Right here next to it is the case. I got the regular iPhone 6. No way, at least in my opinion, I do not want to get the 6 Plus. It is ridiculously huge. The 6 Plus is almost the size as an iPad mini, in my opinion. It is ridiculously huge. The 6 Plus is not because of its size. I don't want it because it's huge. It will not fit in my pocket. It'll be hard to carry. I can't fit the whole thing in my hand. Even this one barely can fit in my hand. I can just between my fingertips. So without further ado, let's begin the iPhone 6. I already opened it. I just wanted to put it in the box to make the review look nice. I kind of like, though, how the new design, like the boxes before never did this, but I noticed how it kind of like pops out a little bit of the box. You can kind of see it. You can kind of feel it. It comes out of the box, which is kind of cool. I thought that was a little new design, little feature for the new iPhone 6 boxes. I don't think they've ever done that before in the past. So here is my iPhone. I already opened it. It's actually already set up. I just wanted to put it back in the box. Oops. I wanted to put it back in the box just to make it nice. And I noticed too when they put the iPhone. This is a new way to do it. They put the iPhone on this little plate. And notice because I'm also, even though I'm obviously right now the camera I'm using is my iPod Touch 5th generation, but the same idea, which I'm going to talk about design, but the camera sticks out just like the iPod 5 does of the thing, which means that it makes a little fitting for the camera to go through that hole where the camera goes, which is cool. But I will talk about it. It is it's almost just as thin as the iPod 5th generation. And I also want to talk about the iPod Touch. They're going to release a new one soon. So let's first take a look at what's inside the box. I actually do not want to open these, and I also do not want to use this charger yet, because I still have my iPod Touch charger, and it is the same USB port plug-in piece. So until it applies for both my headphones. The other headphones I have are not Apple. They are, I don't know what they are, but they're not Apple. and I'm using those. That's how I like to do it. I don't want to start using either one of these. I'm not going to open them until one of my other two things break. So I'm just saving these. But this is the charger it came with. However, I do have a wall plug, but I do use this. It's actually still hot from when I was just charging my iPod for the review. But I do use that plug-in piece. So now that you kind of saw what's inside, I did get rid of all the instructions because I know how to use it. Now the first thing first is, real quick, I hope they do release the iPod. I wonder when they're going to release an iPod 6. They have not yet. And usually, this is kind of bad for Apple because I guess they're so all focused on the iPad Air, the iPad Mini, the iPhone 6, the iPhone 6 Plus. They're all focused on their new releases that they don't feel like, I guess because they could personally say that a lot of people, I'm not saying making assumptions, but I'm just kind of saying people, I guess, don't buy the iPod Touch anymore, so they guess they don't make money with that. I don't know. But it's been a while since, it's been 2 years since they had the previous iPod, since they released the 5th generation. They don't have a new one yet, which I'm pretty. I still want to see, because I like to see. It's not that I'm gonna buy it, and I'll talk about that with this in a sec. I'm not gonna buy it, but I like to see releases. I like to see new designs. I like to see them come out with new designs. So I'm pretty. I'm pretty a little upset about it, but I hope they do review another iPod soon. I don't know if they're going to plan on continuing or discontinuing it, but I hope they do. Apple does release the iPod Touch 6th generation. I do believe that a lot of it's going to be very similar, I would think, at least as far as Touch ID goes, that the iPod Touch 6th generation will have Touch ID, just like the iPhone 6 does, and the iPad as well. So I do think that they should do that, but we'll talk about that later. I do actually want to start giving my opinion, so it's kind of a brief opinion there, and just my thoughts about Apple and about their work and what they do. They make a lot of money, no doubt. So I do like to start kind of talking about that and giving my personal opinions about that. I do hope they release another iPod soon. I would like to see it. Okay, so enough of that talk. Let's get on the review. This is why we're here, to look at my iPhone 6. It is a nice design. I purposely took it out of the case so you can see the iPhone itself. However, I am surprised by this case. I did watch a video on YouTube. This is the Defender series. I have the same one for my iPod Touch as well. But this thing can handle a 3-story drop. Because not that I did it and I wouldn't do it, but I saw a video and I was like surprised. I was like, wow. That's how tough this case is. And I like to keep it on. This is the only time I'm really taking it off so that I can show you it. Because sadly, the iPhone 6 is just as any other iPhone that we've had in the past. It is just as shatterable. The only thing I am happy about, which we will talk about in the design, is that the back is no longer glass, except for the camera lens. But the past iPhones, before, it was like it went from all glass to little glass to no glass. The iPhone 4S's back was completely glass. The iPhone 5S only had this top portion and this bottom portion glass. And now the iPhone 6, 0% glass other than the camera. So they kind of reduced the uses of glass, which is great. I don't like glass backs. Because this is the same material they used for the iPod 5. This is the same exact material, because the iPod 5 also has this. I think this is aluminum. I'm not sure what material they used to do this, but it is the same material back, just as for the iPod 5. The iPod 5 also has this same exact material. It feels the same. My only concern is that it's very slippery. So, but since it's bigger, at least for the iPod goes, since the back is like that, it slips out of my hand pretty easily. It feels very vulnerable, which is why I got the cases, because I don't want to see this And no, I did. It was actually my parents had bought my iPhone for me. It wasn't me. I wasn't under contract. But so I'm saying that I don't have warranty for this. So if this breaks, that's the other reason it's not worth the risk of dropping it once, because sadly it is just as shatterable as any other iPhone we've had in the past. It is not more durable than the last. I think they've used, the only material that changes the Touch ID is a different material, but the screen is the same, glass is just as any other iPhone that we've had. I've seen videos, I've seen enough, it is just as shatterable. One drop and it'll probably go shatter. Obviously it does depend on how you drop it, but of course you get my point. So I don't want to leave that out of its case, really. Like I said, the only reason I have it out is so that you can see the design of the iPhone. But yeah, so it is the same material. So now for that, I compared the thinness, and the iPhone 6 is just as thin as the iPod Touch 5th generation. And they did the same thing too, just like they did for the iPod 5. The camera bulks out, which is why they fitted it for this. When they stick it in there, the camera comes out of the phone, just like the iPod Touch does. So that's a new feature, and of course the iPhone 6 is always better. They always have a faster processor than the next one. They use an 8A chip for this phone. So let's kind of take a look, get a close up now of the design. You can see the camera, of course, right there. Let me focus this. There we go. And then you can see the design of it. Here's the back. That's the camera. The microphone, the lights, and then again, that, as everyone knows, they moved the sleep wake button from the top of the player to the side here. So that's a new design. Because like when I'm using, I still have my iPod, and I use my iPod just as much as I use my phone. Like when I'm switching devices, I keep for my iPod. I do it both both ways. Like if I have my phone in my hand, I try to press it here, and I'm like, wait, the button's down here. And then if I'm touching my iPod, I think the button's on the side and not the top. So I'm trying to get used to it, because it's like kind of weird having both devices in different ways, because they're obviously different. But I like the new design. The only thing that's different is now they've used, you can kind of see it, it's like a round sides instead of flat, because most iPhones that we've had in the past all are flat. They've had the flat size, and they're all, but it is almost just as thin as the iPod 5th generation. The camera pops out just like that one does. But I think the reason why that is because there's only so much space, and they have to be able to fit it in there, because there's only so much space they can fit in order for it to make it work, obviously, with so much internal electronics in the device. And then the front-facing camera here, the Touch ID, and then it's the same USB port, that the speaker port, the headphone jack, the volume controls, and then the vibrate button. So you can see pretty much the design here. But yeah, that's what I really like, is that the entire back is now aluminum. I think that's what the material is. It's the same material, just like I said, as the iPod 5th generation material. Because remember, like I said, the 4S was completely glass. The 5S was only the top and the bottom glass, and now the 6 is 0. So they were reducing it as the designs came out, which I like. So what we're gonna do is you can check part 2. That was my discussion for part 1. Part 2 you can check out. We're actually going to review the iPhone. So you can check for part 2 to watch the review.